In a large city filled with tall buildings and busy streets, there was a beautiful mansion on the edge of a quiet neighborhood. This mansion belonged to Mrs. Clara Wells. Clara was a billionaire. She owned many companies and had a very busy life. She was strong and smart, and many people admired her. But behind her powerful smile, Clara had a heart full of worries. Clara was a single mother. She loved her young son, Liam, more than anything in the world. Liam was 6 years old, with soft brown hair and bright eyes full of wonder. But even with all the toys, games, and luxuries, Liam sometimes felt lonely and sad. Clara wanted to make him happy, but she did not always know how. One warm afternoon, Clara was sitting in her study room, looking out the large window. The garden outside was full of colorful flowers, green grass, and tall trees. The sun was shining brightly, and the birds were singing softly. It was a perfect day to play outside. Suddenly, Clara heard a soft crying sound. She looked down and saw Liam sitting on the grass, tears running down his cheeks. He was holding a small toy car, but it was broken. Liam was upset because his favorite toy had stopped working. His little heart was heavy with sadness. Clara wanted to go to him right away, but her hands were full with papers and work. She called for the nanny, but the nanny was busy inside the house and did not hear her. Clara felt a little helpless. She wished there was someone who could comfort Liam quickly. As she watched, Clara's eyes caught sight of a young girl walking near the garden fence. Her name was Rosa. Rosa was the daughter of the janitor who worked in Clara's mansion. She was about Liam's age, with dark curly hair tied back in a neat ponytail and kind, gentle eyes. Rosa often helped her father by cleaning the halls and tidying up the garden. On this day, Rosa was carrying a small bottle of bubble soap and a plastic wand. She smiled softly as she walked closer to the garden, where Liam was crying. Rosa knew from her own experience how bubbles could make children happy. When her little brother was sad, she used to blow bubbles for him, and he would laugh again. Without saying a word, Rosa knelt down beside Liam. She dipped the wand into the bubble soap and gently blew a stream of bubbles into the air. The bubbles floated like tiny glass balls, shining in the sunlight. They floated slowly toward Liam. Liam looked up, and his eyes widened. The tears stopped. He reached out his small hands to catch the bubbles. One by one, the bubbles popped softly on his fingers. A smile slowly appeared on his face. Clara watched all this quietly from the window. She was surprised by how such a simple thing could bring so much joy to her son. She had never seen Liam smile like that in a long time. Clara felt her heart soften. She realized that sometimes, love and happiness do not come from money or gifts but from small, caring actions. Rosa continued to blow bubbles, and Liam laughed and tried to catch every one. The garden filled with his happy sounds. Clara quietly opened the door and stepped outside. She did not want to disturb them but wanted to thank Rosa. "Thank you, Rosa," Clara said gently. Rosa looked up, a little shy but happy. "You made Liam happy again," Clara added. Rosa smiled wider. "Bubbles always make people smile," she said simply. Clara sat down on a bench nearby and watched as Liam and Rosa played. She noticed how patient and kind Rosa was with her son. Liam was no longer lonely. The garden felt warm and full of life. After some time, Clara spoke again. "Rosa, where did you learn to do this?" "To make bubbles and comfort Liam." Rosa looked thoughtful for a moment. "My little brother cries sometimes," she said quietly. "Bubbles help him forget his tears and laugh." Clara nodded slowly. She felt a new respect for Rosa. Even though Rosa's family did not have much money, she had a heart full of love and a gift for kindness. Clara understood that in the busy world of wealth and power, people like Rosa were special. They reminded her what really mattered. As the sun began to set, Clara invited Rosa to stay for a little while longer. "Would you like to have some juice and cookies?" she asked kindly. Rosa hesitated but then nodded. Clara knew that moments like this were precious. It was more than just bubbles, it was about kindness, care, and connection. That day marked the beginning of a new friendship. Clara watched as Liam and Rosa shared stories, laughter, and bubbles in the golden light of the evening. For the first time in a long while, Clara felt hope. Maybe, just maybe, love and kindness could fill the emptiness she sometimes felt. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the city, painting the sky with soft pink and orange colors. Clara woke up early and went to check on her son Liam. She found him sitting by the window, looking outside with a small smile on his face. The broken toy car was forgotten, replaced by something new, a gentle happiness she had not seen for days. Liam's laughter had returned, and Clara knew that something had changed since Rosa had come into their lives. She decided to watch how Rosa comforted her son during the day. Rosa arrived at the mansion just as the sun reached its highest point. She carried her small bottle of bubble soap and her favorite wand. As she walked into the garden, Liam ran to her, his eyes shining bright. "Look, Rosa. I can catch more bubbles today," Liam said excitedly. Rosa smiled warmly. "I know, Liam. Let me show you how to make the biggest bubbles." She carefully dipped the wand into the soap and slowly lifted it into the air. A large, shining bubble appeared, floating gently over Liam's head. He jumped and tried to catch it, giggling with joy. Clara watched quietly from the house, her heart softening with each laugh. It was amazing how a small, simple act could bring so much happiness. After some time, Rosa sat down next to Liam under the big oak tree. "Sometimes," Rosa said quietly, "when things are hard, bubbles help me feel better. They remind me that sadness can float away, just like the bubbles." Liam looked up, curious. "Do bubbles really take sadness away?" he asked. Rosa nodded. "Not all of it, but they help us forget for a little while. And that's okay." Clara listened to their conversation with a new understanding. She had spent many years trying to protect Liam from the world's troubles, but she had never thought about the power of simple comfort, just being there, sharing a moment. The afternoon passed peacefully. Liam and Rosa played with bubbles, chasing them across the garden, their laughter filling the air. Clara joined them occasionally, blowing bubbles herself, feeling a happiness she had almost forgotten. As the day went on, Clara began to notice more about Rosa. She was gentle and kind, but also quiet and thoughtful. Rosa did not complain about her life or their small apartment far from the mansion. Instead, she found joy in little things like blowing bubbles and watching Liam smile. Later, when Liam became tired, Rosa took his hand and led him to a small bench. "Do you want me to sing you a song?" she asked softly. Liam nodded, leaning his head on Rosa's shoulder. Rosa sang a gentle song she had learned from her mother. The words were simple, but her voice was full of warmth. Liam's eyes grew heavy, and soon he was peacefully asleep. Clara felt a wave of emotion. She had watched many nannies and caretakers try to soothe Liam, but none had the special gift Rosa had, the gift of comfort and love without asking for anything in return. When Liam woke up, he looked at Rosa with gratitude. "Thank you for making me happy," he said. Rosa smiled shyly. "I'm glad, Liam. Sometimes, a little kindness is all we need." As the sun began to set, Clara invited Rosa inside for a small dinner. They sat together in the dining room, eating simple food and talking softly. Clara asked Rosa about her family, wanting to understand her better. Rosa told Clara about her father, a hard-working man who cleaned the mansion every night. She spoke about her little brother, who was often sick and needed extra care. Rosa's voice was steady, but Clara could see the love and strength behind her words. Clara realized that Rosa's life was very different from hers. But what connected them was a deep care for their families and a hope for a better future. After dinner, Clara said gently, "Rosa, would you like to come here more often? Liam loves your company, and I do too." Rosa's eyes lit up. "I would like that very much, Mrs. Wells." That night, Clara sat alone in her study, thinking about the day. She felt a quiet joy and a new hope. Maybe, in the busy world of wealth and power, she had found something more valuable, a friendship born from kindness. Liam's laughter echoed in her mind, reminding her that happiness was not about money or things but about love and simple moments shared. Clara smiled to herself. She knew this was just the beginning of a new chapter for her family and for Rosa's family too. A chapter filled with hope, care, and bubbles that carried away sadness, if only for a little while. Days passed, and the warm sunshine continued to light the big mansion and its beautiful garden. Clara watched quietly as a special friendship grew between her son Liam and Rosa, the janitor's daughter. The two children were often found laughing, playing, and exploring the garden together, their joy as bright as the morning sun. Each morning, Rosa would arrive carrying her small bottle of bubble soap and a colorful wand. Liam waited eagerly by the garden gate, his face lighting up the moment he saw her. The bubbles had become a symbol of happiness, a way for them to share simple, beautiful moments. One day, as Rosa blew bubbles that floated and shimmered in the sunlight, Clara came outside to join them. She picked up the bubble wand, trying to blow bubbles herself. But her bubbles popped too quickly, making Liam and Rosa laugh. It was a small, perfect moment, a reminder that even someone as powerful as Clara could enjoy the simple pleasures of life. "Your bubbles are magical, Rosa," Clara said softly, smiling. "You have a special way of making Liam happy." Rosa looked down, a little shy. "I just like to see him smile. That's all." Clara sat on the bench nearby, watching the children play. She could see the trust and comfort between them. Liam no longer cried as much. He seemed to feel safe and loved, not just by his mother, but by Rosa as well. As the days grew warmer, Liam and Rosa found new ways to play together. Sometimes they ran through the garden, trying to catch bubbles before they popped. Other times, they sat under the big oak tree, sharing stories about their lives and dreams. One afternoon, Liam asked Rosa, "Do you want to come inside and see my room?" Rosa nodded excitedly. Inside, Liam showed her his collection of toys and books. Rosa was amazed by the many colorful things around her, things she had only seen in pictures. But she did not seem jealous or sad. Instead, she smiled and listened as Liam told stories about his favorite toys. Clara peeked into the room quietly. She felt a strange warmth inside, watching Rosa and Liam together. For the first time, she saw her son truly happy, not because of his toys, but because of friendship. Over time, Clara began to talk with Rosa more often. She asked about Rosa's school, her friends, and her family. Rosa shared stories of her father's hard work and her little brother's dreams. Clara learned that Rosa was a bright student, full of hope for the future. One day, Clara invited Rosa to sit with her in the study. "Rosa," she said gently, "I want to help your family. You are very special, and I believe in your kindness and strength." Rosa looked surprised and a little unsure. "Thank you, Mrs. Wells. But my family works hard, and we are okay." Clara shook her head kindly. "Sometimes, even strong people need a little help. And I want to give that help not because you need it, but because you deserve it." Rosa's eyes filled with tears. She had never heard such kind words before. "Thank you," she whispered. From that day, Clara made plans to support Rosa's family in a quiet way. She wanted to do more than just watch from a distance. She wanted to make sure Rosa and her family could live with dignity and hope. Meanwhile, Liam and Rosa's friendship grew deeper. Liam learned to be patient and kind, inspired by Rosa's gentle spirit. Rosa, in turn, found joy in the little moments of laughter and play that she shared with Liam. One afternoon, while blowing bubbles together, Liam asked, "Rosa, why do you like bubbles so much?" Rosa smiled and replied, "Bubbles remind me that life is fragile but beautiful. They float for a little while and then disappear, but they leave a little happiness behind." Liam thought about this carefully. "I want to be like bubbles, making people happy." Rosa laughed. "You already do, Liam." As the sun set on the mansion's garden, Clara felt a quiet peace. She knew that wealth could buy many things, but it could never buy the true treasure she now had: the friendship and love growing between Liam and Rosa. She looked at the two children chasing bubbles, their laughter echoing in the warm air, and whispered to herself, "This is the real magic." The days grew cooler, and the golden leaves of autumn began to fall gently over the garden. Clara noticed that Rosa still came to the mansion every day, but there was a new quietness in her eyes. Clara's curiosity grew. She wanted to understand more about Rosa's life beyond the walls of the mansion. One afternoon, Clara decided to visit the janitor's small home. It was a modest apartment in a nearby neighborhood, far from the luxury and comfort of Clara's mansion. The streets were narrow, and the houses were close together. The sounds of children playing and neighbors chatting filled the air. Clara knocked softly on the door. Rosa's father, Mr. Henry, opened it. He was a kind-looking man, with tired eyes but a warm smile. Clara introduced herself gently and explained why she was there. "I just wanted to say hello and meet the family of the little girl who brings so much joy to my son," Clara said kindly. Mr. Henry invited her inside. The apartment was simple but clean and full of love. On the small table sat a few photographs, a little worn but clearly cherished. Clara saw pictures of Rosa, her younger brother, and Mr. Henry himself. As Clara sat down, she noticed a small stack of bills on the table and a worn-out school backpack leaning against the wall. It was clear this family worked very hard just to get by. Over tea, Mr. Henry shared stories about his job cleaning the mansion. He worked late into the night and started again early in the morning. Despite the hard work, he was proud of his family. Rosa's little brother, Matteo, was often sick and needed medicine that was expensive. Mr. Henry spoke softly about the worries that filled his days. Clara listened carefully, her heart heavy but determined to help. Later, Rosa came home from school. She smiled shyly when she saw Clara but quickly helped her father serve tea. Clara watched as Rosa cared for Matteo, feeding him gently and telling him stories to make him smile. That evening, Clara left the apartment with a new understanding of Rosa's strength. She saw a family full of love, but also many struggles that money alone had not solved. Back in the mansion, Clara sat in her study, thinking deeply. She knew she could not ignore the difference between her world and Rosa's world. But she also knew she wanted to help not just with money, but with respect and dignity. The next day, Clara invited Rosa to sit with her in the garden. "Rosa," she began gently, "I want you to know that your family's hard work does not go unnoticed. I want to help in any way I can." Rosa looked down at her hands, feeling shy but grateful. "Thank you, Mrs. Wells. I just want to take care of my family." Clara smiled warmly. "And you will. I believe in you. And I want to give your family a chance to grow, to have more opportunities." Rosa's eyes shone with hope. "That means a lot to me." Clara continued, "Your father's work is important to us. I want to offer him a better job, one with good hours and steady pay. And I want to help Matteo get the care he needs." Rosa's voice trembled with emotion. "Thank you. I don't know what to say." "You don't need to say anything now," Clara said kindly. "Just know that you and your family are valued." From that moment, Clara began quietly arranging help for Rosa's family. She hired a nurse to check on Matteo and made sure Mr. Henry's new job was comfortable and fair. Rosa's face changed over the weeks. The tiredness in her eyes slowly gave way to hope and happiness. She still came to the mansion every day to play with Liam, but now she also carried a new confidence. One afternoon, as Rosa and Liam sat blowing bubbles in the garden, Clara joined them and said, "You both remind me how kindness can change lives." Liam smiled and looked at Rosa. "She is my best friend." Rosa smiled back. "And you are mine." Clara knew that the true value of life was not in money or things but in the bonds people build. She felt grateful to have met Rosa, a girl with a heart bigger than the challenges she faced. The secret of Rosa's strength was simple: it was love. Love for her family, hope for the future, and kindness for those around her. As the leaves fell softly to the ground, Clara made a silent promise to herself, to protect that love and help it grow, so that no one would ever feel alone again. The golden light of morning filled the mansion's garden as Clara prepared for the day. Her mind was full of thoughts about Rosa and her family. She wanted to do more than just help quietly from a distance. She wanted to create a real opportunity for Rosa's father, Mr. Henry, and for Rosa herself. That day, Clara made a decision. She would offer Mr. Henry a new job inside her company, one with better hours, fair pay, and respect. She also wanted Rosa to have a chance to grow and learn, to dream beyond the limits she had known. After breakfast, Clara called Mr. Henry to the mansion study. He arrived, dressed in his usual work clothes, looking both nervous and hopeful. Clara greeted him warmly. "Mr. Henry," she began, "I want to thank you for all the hard work you do. Your care for this house and for your daughter is clear to me." Mr. Henry bowed his head politely. "Thank you, Mrs. Wells. I try my best." Clara smiled kindly. "I want to offer you a new position in my company. It is a job that respects your skills and your time. You will have steady hours, better pay, and benefits for your family." Mr. Henry's eyes widened in surprise. I don't know what to say. This is more than I ever hoped for." Clara nodded. "You deserve it. And I want you to focus on your family without worry. This is just the beginning." Later, Clara spoke to Rosa. She told her about the new opportunity for her father and about her plans to help Rosa with school and future possibilities. Rosa's face lit up with happiness and gratitude. "Thank you, Mrs. Wells. This means everything to us." With this new job, Mr. Henry was able to come home earlier each day. He spent more time with Rosa and Mateo, and the family grew stronger and happier. Meanwhile, Clara kept thinking about Rosa's future. She knew Rosa was bright and hard-working. She wanted Rosa to have a chance to study well and to chase her dreams. One afternoon, Clara invited Rosa to her study. "Rosa," she said, "I want to help you with your education. I can arrange for tutors, books, and anything you need. You have great potential, and I want to support you." Rosa looked surprised but hopeful. "I want to study hard, Mrs. Wells. I want to make my family proud." Clara smiled. "You already do. And I believe you will achieve great things." As the days passed, Rosa's confidence grew. She studied with new tutors, learned new things, and dreamed bigger dreams. She continued to visit the mansion, playing and laughing with Liam, but now with a new spark of hope in her eyes. Liam was happy to see his friend growing stronger. He told her, "One day, you will do amazing things, Rosa." Rosa smiled and said, "And I will always remember how you and your mother helped me." Clara watched this friendship with pride. She knew that giving opportunity was the greatest gift she could offer. It was not about charity but about believing in people and helping them shine. One evening, Clara hosted a small dinner at the mansion. She invited Mr. Henry and Rosa to join her and Liam. They sat together, sharing stories and laughter. The walls of the mansion, once quiet and lonely, now felt warm and alive. During dinner, Clara spoke softly, "I am proud of all of you. You have shown me the true meaning of strength and kindness." Mr. Henry looked at Clara with deep gratitude. Thank you for trusting us. We will work hard to make you proud. Rosa took Liam's hand and said, "Thank you for being my friend and for teaching me to believe in myself." Liam smiled. "We will always be friends." That night, Clara felt a deep happiness. She had taken a step toward changing not just one family's life, but the lives of many who deserved a chance. She understood that true wealth was not counted in money, but in the chances we give others and the love we share. The opportunity she gave to Rosa's family was a seed planted in good soil. Clara knew that with care and kindness, it would grow into something beautiful: hope, strength, and a brighter future. As the stars twinkled above the mansion, Clara whispered a quiet prayer of thanks. She was grateful for the lessons she had learned from a little girl with a simple gift of bubbles and a heart full of courage. As the cool breeze of early winter touched the city, life at the mansion had changed in many ways. Rosa's family was slowly finding hope, and Clara's heart was full of warmth knowing she had helped make a difference. But life, as always, brought new challenges. One morning, Rosa woke up feeling nervous. Today was the day of her school's important test. This test would decide if she could get a scholarship to continue her education next year. Rosa had studied hard with the tutors Clara had arranged, but her heart still raced with worry. At breakfast, Rosa sat quietly, staring at her food. Her father, Mr. Henry, noticed her unease. "Rosa, what's wrong?" he asked gently. Rosa sighed. "I am afraid I will fail the test, Papa." "What if I can't get the scholarship?" Mr. Henry smiled kindly. "You have worked very hard, Rosa. No matter what happens, we are proud of you. Just do your best, and that will be enough." Rosa nodded but still felt a little scared. She didn't want to let anyone down, especially Clara and Liam, who believed in her so much. Clara, too, sensed Rosa's worry when she came to the mansion later that day. She took Rosa's hand and said softly, "It's okay to be nervous. Remember, you are stronger than you think." Rosa smiled faintly. "Thank you, Mrs. Wells. I will try my best." That afternoon, Rosa went to school with a hopeful heart. The test was difficult, but she stayed calm and focused. When it was over, she felt relief wash over her. Whatever happened, she had done her best. Back at the mansion, Clara waited anxiously for the test results. Days passed slowly, and Rosa grew quiet, lost in thought. Liam noticed and asked, "Rosa, are you okay?" Rosa smiled softly. "I don't know if I passed yet. I hope so." One evening, Clara received a letter. It was from the school. She opened it carefully and read the words aloud to Rosa and Mr. Henry. "Rosa has passed the test with high marks and has been awarded the scholarship for the next year." Rosa's eyes filled with tears of joy. "I did it," she cried. "Thank you, Mrs. Wells." "Thank you, Papa." Mr. Henry hugged his daughter tightly. "You earned this, Rosa. I am so proud of you." Clara smiled, her heart full. "You worked hard, Rosa. This is your success." But the happiness was soon followed by a new challenge. Rosa's mother had fallen ill and needed special care. The family's small apartment was not the best place for healing, and the cost of treatment was high. When Clara heard the news, she did not hesitate. She arranged for Rosa's mother to receive medical care in a good hospital and hired a nurse to help her at home. Rosa was worried but grateful. She visited her mother every day after school, holding her hand and telling stories to keep her spirits high. One afternoon, while blowing bubbles with Liam in the garden, Rosa said quietly, "Sometimes, life is like bubbles. It's beautiful but fragile." Liam looked thoughtful. "We just have to hold on and keep blowing bubbles, even when it's hard." Clara joined them and said, "And remember, you are never alone. We will face challenges together." With Clara's support, Rosa's mother slowly began to recover. The family grew closer, finding strength in each other and in the kindness around them. Through the difficulties, Rosa learned important lessons about courage, hope, and the power of community. She understood that even when life was hard, love and support could help her rise again. Clara watched Rosa's growth with pride. The little girl who once comforted her son with bubbles had become a symbol of hope and resilience for everyone around her. One evening, as the stars shone bright, Clara sat with Rosa and her family by the fireplace. They shared stories and dreams, feeling the warmth of friendship and trust. Rosa looked at Clara and said, "You showed me that kindness can change lives. I want to do the same for others someday." Clara smiled, tears in her eyes. "You already are, Rosa. You already are." The challenge was not over, but the future was brighter. With love, hope, and determination, Rosa's family was ready to face whatever came next together. Time passed gently like the wind that rustled through the trees in Clara's garden. The seasons changed, but something deep and beautiful remained the same: the bond between two families that once lived in completely different worlds. Clara often found herself watching from the window as Liam and Rosa played in the garden, just as they always had. But now, it wasn't just about blowing bubbles. They talked, laughed, planted small flowers, and sometimes just sat under the old oak tree, watching the clouds. Rosa had grown more confident. She spoke clearly, dreamed bigger, and walked with a quiet strength that touched everyone who met her. Her scholarship continued, and she was now the top student in her class. But what made Clara most proud was not Rosa's grades, it was her heart. One sunny afternoon, Liam came running into Clara's study, holding a piece of paper. "Look, Mama," he said with excitement. "Rosa made this for me." Clara took the paper gently. It was a drawing of Liam and Rosa standing in the garden, blowing bubbles, surrounded by words written in Rosa's careful handwriting: "Kindness is a gift that grows when we share it." Clara smiled warmly. That simple sentence touched her deeply. It reminded her of the day the story began, the day she saw Rosa blowing bubbles to comfort her crying son. That moment had changed everything. That evening, Clara called Rosa and her family to the mansion for dinner. It was a special night, full of laughter, warm food, and quiet memories. After the meal, Clara stood up and said something she had been holding in her heart. "I want to thank you all," she said, looking at Rosa, Mr. Henry, and little Matteo. "When I first met you, I thought I was helping you. But the truth is, you helped me." Mr. Henry looked surprised. "But Mrs. Wells, you gave us so much. You changed our lives." Clara nodded. "Yes, but you reminded me of something I had forgotten. Love, kindness, and friendship, those are the real treasures in life. Not money. Not things. People." Rosa looked at Liam and smiled. "He taught me how to dream bigger. I only gave him bubbles, but he gave me belief." Liam, now older and more thoughtful, added quietly, "And Rosa taught me how to be brave, even without toys or money." The room grew silent for a moment as everyone felt the weight of those words. Then Clara walked over to Rosa and took her hand. "Rosa," she said softly, "you have the heart of a leader. I want to start something new with your help." Rosa looked surprised. "With me?" "Yes," Clara said. "I want to build a learning center for children like you. A place where dreams are not limited by where someone is born or how much money they have. And I want you to be part of it." Tears filled Rosa's eyes. She had never imagined something so big. "Do you really think I can do that?" Clara smiled. "I don't just think it, I believe it with all my heart." Mr. Henry stood, emotion in his eyes. "You are giving Rosa the chance to help others the way you helped us. That's a beautiful gift." From that night forward, plans for the Learning Center began. Rosa helped design the space. She chose books, colors, and activities that would inspire children. Clara gave her full support but always reminded her, "This is your vision, Rosa." Months later, the center opened. Children from all parts of the city came, excited to learn and play. On the wall near the entrance hung a painting, two children, one blowing bubbles and the other catching them, with the words, "Kindness is a gift that grows when we share it." Rosa stood at the door that day, welcoming the children with a big smile. Liam stood beside her, proud to see his best friend becoming someone so special. Clara watched from the side, her heart full. The little girl who once comforted her son with simple bubbles had grown into a light for others, a living example of what kindness, love, and opportunity could do. Later, as the sun began to set, Rosa sat under the oak tree with Liam once again. "You remember the first time we sat here?" she asked. Liam nodded. "You blew bubbles, and I stopped crying." "And now," Rosa said, looking around at the happy children in the learning center, "we're helping others smile too." Liam blew a small bubble and watched it float up into the orange sky. "We started with bubbles, but it became something much bigger." Rosa smiled. "Yes. And it all began with a little kindness." Clara watched them from afar, feeling a quiet peace in her soul. She had once been a woman who had everything money could buy, but now, she truly felt rich. And in the hearts of everyone who had been part of this journey, a lesson remained forever clear: a simple act of love can change a life. A simple moment can change the world.